Hi everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 5 math. So you can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 5 and then click on view all lessons. So there you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter ratios, proportions and percents. So let's just start with the chapter. We're going to start with the very first lesson from the chapter, that is ratio tables. So let's just start with the lesson. Okay, let me just write down the lesson name. So I'm going to explain how do we complete the ratio tables. Just listen to me carefully, right? Let's start with an example. We have a table given, right? We have to complete the table. So how do we complete a table? The table is 9, 18. In 9, 18, the missing number 36, 45. And the values are 5, 10, 15, 20 and 25. You have to complete the table, right? That is a ratio table. The question is complete the ratio table. So how do you complete the table? Let's start with the first value, 9 ratio 5, right? Let's just write it down in a fractional form. Here you have 15. So just look at this number, the missing number divided by 5. This one, for example, you have to calculate the x. So 15 it is. 5 times what number is 15? Just look at the denominators because the numerator is missing. 5 times what number is 15? 5 times 3 is 15. So you have to multiply the numerator and denominator with 3, right? That would be 9 times 3 is 27 and 5 times 3 is 15. That means it is 27. The missing number is 27, right? Okay. Let's just do another example. If you have any question, you can please write down the question in the chat box. Otherwise, if you already know the answers, you can please write down the answers in the chat box, right? Okay, the other example we are going to do. Okay, the other example is complete the ratio table. And the table given is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. And here you have 1, 2, 3, missing number and 5, that is 3. So how do you find a ratio? Let's just start with the very first values in the table, right? This one, 10 and 1. Just write them down in the fractional form and equate it with the one you have to calculate, 40 divided by the missing number, right? Here you have 40. Let's see what number you multiply with 10 that makes 40. 10 times what number is 40? 10 times 4 is 40. That means you have to multiply this fraction numerator and denominator as well with 4. 10 times 4 is 40, so 4 times 1 is 4. That means here the missing value is 4, right? Okay, let's just do another one. Okay, the next one is complete the ratio table, and the table is 1 6, 212, 318, 4 missing number, and 530. So how do you complete the table? Let's just make a ratio of the very first values in the table, right? It would be 1 over 6. Then the missing one are 4 divided by the missing number, right? Just look at the values given. Numerator 1 times what number is 4? 1 times 4 is 4. So you have to multiply the denominator by 4 as well, right? So 1 times 4 is 4 and 6 times 4 is 24. That means the missing value is 24, right? Now I'm going to write another one on the board. You have to answer. Okay, I'm waiting for the answers from your side now. The next one is complete the ratio table. And the table is 5, 10, the missing value 20 and 25. The other one are 9, 18, 27, 36 and 45. Okay, so which value is missing? You have to calculate the answer. I'm waiting for the answers from your side. It would be just look at the very first row. It is 5 divided by 9, and just equate with this one, the missing value divided by 27. Just look at these values given. 9 times what number is 27? 9 times 3 is 27. That means you have to multiply both the numerator and denominator by 3. So it would be 15. Yes, very good. It is 15. Hi, Marnet. So the missing value is 15, right? Okay, let's just do another example. Let me just write down the values from the table. Question is complete the ratio table, and the values are 1, 4, missing value, 8, 3, 12, 4, 16, 5 and 20. So which value is missing? Which is the correct answer? It's okay if you already know the answer, you can just write down the answer. You are not the only one, I am also here. Don't worry. Okay, the first row is 1 divided by 4, right? Now just look at the one you have to calculate the missing value. That would be the missing number divided by, sorry, the missing number divided by 8, that is question mark. So just look at the denominators. 4 times what number is 8? 4 times 2 is 8. That means you have to multiply the numerator and denominator with 2. So for 2 times 1 is 2. That means the missing value is 2. Yes, see, you are not the only one. We have so many other kids. So don't worry. Just write down the answers in the chat box, right? So the missing number is 2. Okay, the other example is complete the ratio table. And the lesson and the table is 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15. And the less, of course, the other values are 4, 8, 12, 16, and the missing value. So which is the correct answer? How do you complete the table? Just look at the very first line, 3 divided by 4, right? Then equate it with the missing one, 15 divided by the missing value, right? So 3 times what number is 15? 3 times 5 is 15, right? That means you have to multiply the numerator. Very good. That would be 20. The numerator and denominator with 20. So it is 20. Very good, right? It would be 20. Very good. Okay, the next one is 8, 3, the missing value 6, 24, 9, 32, 12, 40, and 15. So which the let me just write down the options. You have 12, 12, 20, and 12. So which option is the correct one? Which value is missing? Here you have 8 over 3, right? If you make a ratio, then this one is missing value divided by 6. So 3 times what number is 6? That is 3 times 2 is 6, right? That means then 8 times 2 is, but you are not given with 16. Yes, it is 16. Sorry, not 12. You're right. Very good. That is 16. The answer is 16. It is 16. Very good. Okay, so you can find same practice questions on the lesson. That is, we're working on grade 5 math. Chapter we're working on is ratios, proportions, and percents. The lessons we are working on is the lesson we're working on is ratio table. Actually, I have written the wrong options, right? That is 20 and 16. How do you find the missing? That is important. How do you find the missing answer, right? Manet, just listen to me carefully. Just look at the very first line from the table. That is 8 ratio 3. 8 and 3, right? Write them in the fractional form. That is 8 over 3. Then just look at the line where you have to find the missing value. That just equate it. It would be the missing value divided by 6. Because they are equal, just look at the equivalent fractions. Actually they are 3 and 6. 3 times what number is 6? 3 times 2 is 6. So you have to multiply both numerator and denominator by 2. Because here you already have 6. 3 times 2 is 6. You multiply the numerator by 2, and 8 times 2 is 16. That means the missing value is 16. Right? Manet, if you still have any question, you can please ask. I'm going to do another example for you. So you have to answer for the next one, right? Okay. Okay, the next one is 5, 4, 10, 8, 15, 12, 20, missing value, and 25 and 20. So which value is missing? The options you are given is 16 and 31. Which is the correct option? Which option is the correct one, Marnat? Just look at the first line, 5 over 4. And then the line, it is 20 divided by the missing value, right? Just look 5 times, what number is 20? 31. How? 5 times 4 is 20. So you have to multiply the denominator with 4 as well. So 4 times 4 is 16. The missing value is 16, isn't it? You can please take your time. Make sure when you are on the live session, you have your notebook and pencil. Try to solve them on your own on your notebook. Then you can write down the answers, right? If you are just guessing the answers, then please do not guess the answers. Use your notebook and pencils whenever you are here for the live session. Keep your notebook and pencil with you. So whenever I ask a question, just solve it on your notebook and then you can write down the option. I would be very happy if you use your notebook and pencil and then write the correct answer, right? 1 8 2 16 324, missing number 32, 540. You are given the options 12 and 4. Which option is the correct one? Because you cannot do math mentally, you have to use your notebook and pencil. Which value is missing? Who is going to answer? Yes, very good. It is 4. So the missing answer is 4. Marnet, you got same answer? Okay, so you can complete this lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson, right? And the next lesson from the same chapter is equivalent ratios. Okay, that is equivalent ratios. Okay, so we are working on grade 5 math. The chapter is ratio, rate, percents, and proportions. We're going to start with the new lesson that is equivalent ratios. So let's just start with the lesson. So let me first explain what are the equivalent ratios, right? So just listen to me carefully. If you don't have your notebook and pencil, you can have your notebook and pencil, right? Okay. So for example, we have a fraction, yeah, or ratio 1 over 2, right? You have to write down all the equivalent ratios of 1 by 2. How do you write? Just multiply numerator and denominator with same number, right? You will get the equivalent ratio. For example, I'm going to multiply this by 2. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4. That is an equivalent ratio. I'm going to multiply it up. If you have one fraction, you have so many equivalent fractions of the same fraction, right? For example, now I'm going to multiply it with 4. 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 you have to multiply the original fraction with same number in numerator and denominator, you will get the equivalent ratio. For example, I will multiply this by 20. 20 times 1 is 20, 20 times 2 is 40. That is also an equivalent ratio, right? So what is the equivalent ratio? If you multiply the given ratio by the same number, you will get the equivalent ratio, right? Any questions about the equivalent ratios? Okay. Ratios that are the same when we compare them are the equivalent ratios, right? Let's just start with the examples. The first example is you are given two of the ratios. You have to see if they are equivalent, right? The ratios given are 2 over 4 and 12 over 16. You have to see if they are the equivalent ratios, right? So how do we see if two fractions are equivalent? Just equate them, right? 2 over 4 and 12 over 16, right? And now what you have to do, just cross multiply. Like cross multiply means multiply this numerator denominator with this numerator and this denominator with this. Just do 16 times 2 and equals 4 times 12, right? 16 times 2 is 32 and 12 times 4 is 48. They are not equal. If they are equal, that means both the fractions are equivalent. Because they are not equal, that means the fractions are not equivalent, right? Half of the original? What do you mean by half of the original? The other example is, are these ratios equivalent? And the example is 1 over 3 and 4 over 6, right? How do we see if two fractions are equivalent? Just equate them. No, not always half of the original, right? Because you can multiply different numbers. So this isn't the correct one is if the numbers both numerator and denominator, if you multiply them with same number, that would be your equivalent ratio, right? And how do we see if they are equivalent? You have to cross multiply them, denominator of this one and numerator of this one, and on the other side denominator of this fraction and numerator of this fraction. So if both sides are exactly equal, that means they are the equivalent ratios. So right now 1 by 3 and 4 by 6 are not the equivalent ratios, right? Okay, the other example is 1 over 4 and 5 over 20. You have to see if they are equivalent, yes or no. Which is the correct option? Let's just equate them. 1 by 4 equals 5 over 20. Just cross multiply them, right? Denominator of this one and numerator of this one. Denominator of this one and numerator of this one. Just make a cross, right? 20 times 1 and 4 times 5. 20 times 1 is 20 and 4 times 5 is 20. You can see they are equal. The product of their numerator and denominator is equal. That means yes, they are equivalent. Very good. Okay, the next one is 3 by 5 and 9 by 15. Are they equivalent? Yes or no? You can take your time, solve the question or whatever you want. Just you can just tell me the answer. 3 by 5, 9 by 15. Are they equivalent? Just solve, take your time and write the answer in the yes, very good. They are the equivalent. If you do 15 times 3, that is 45. And when you do 9 times 5, that is 45. So yes, they are equivalent. The correct option is yes, right? Okay, the next one is, are these ratios equivalent? And the ratios given are 2 over 3 equals 16 over 18. Yes or no, which is the correct option? You can take your time, solve, and then you can write the answer. If yes or no. No. Very good. If you have to 2 times 18 is 36 and 3 times 16 is 48. So they are not equivalent, right? Okay. The next example is 1 to 3 and 5 to 10. Whenever you are something written in the ratios form, you can write them in fractional form, right? It would be 1 over 3 and 5 over 15. So are they equivalent? Yes or no? Which is the correct option? Yes, they are equivalent, right? Very good. The correct option is yes. Okay. The other example is 1 over 5 and 3 over 15. I think that's the one we just did. Leave it. Okay, the next one is 4 over 5, 8 ratio 15, right? So are they equivalent? Yes or no? The correct option is no, they are not equivalent, right? Very good. No, they are not equivalent, right? Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson, right? And the next lesson is unit rates and equivalent ratios. How do I edit this one? I just want to edit this. Oh, okay, yes, you can. Okay, the next lesson I'm going to start with it, which is Unit rates and equivalent ratios. So we just done with equivalent ratios, right? So that means you are familiar with what is equivalent ratios. But let's just see what is the unit rate. Unit means one, right? Whenever you have to calculate a value for one thing, for example, let me just explain with an example. For example, you got four balloons, right? The cost of the four balloons is $20, maybe, right? You have to calculate the value of one balloon, right? That means you're going to calculate a unit rate. Unit rate is whenever you have to calculate the value of just one thing. That would be the unit rate, right? Let's just start with an example. Find the unit rate. You have to calculate the unit rate in all the questions. And the question is 20 minutes for four songs. You have to calculate the value time for one song, right? That would be 20 minutes for four songs. You have to calculate how much minutes per song or how much minutes for one song, right? What you have to do, you have to divide this. You have to divide 20 divided by 4. Whenever you have to calculate the price of one thing, right? 1 minute price for or anything for 1 hour. Any if you have to calculate any value for just one item, right? That means you are going to calculate the unit rate. How do you calculate the unit rate? For example, in the question, you're given 20 minutes for four songs, right? That means four songs are for 20 minutes. If you divide 20 by 5, 20 by 4, you will get 5 minutes. That means for each song, that would be 5 minutes, right? That is the unit price. One song is 5 minutes, right? Okay, let's do another examples. 16 minutes of four songs. How many songs per minute? Which is the correct option? You have 16 minutes for four songs. So, how many songs per minute or the unit rate? Right, the songs for 1 minute is very good. That would be 4. What you have to do, just divide 16 by 4. You will get 4. That means one song is for 4 minutes, right? Okay. The other example is 18 houses on 18 houses on 3 blocks. So how many blocks in how many houses per block? So that means in one block how many houses do you have, which is the correct option? Yes, that would be 6 houses per block, right? Because you have to divide 18 by 3 and 3 times 6 is 18. So each block you have 6 houses. Very good. The correct option is 6 houses. Okay. The next example is 10 books in 2 boxes. 10 books in 2 boxes. So how many books in one box? Dash books per box. That means in one box, how many books do you have? Yes, that is 5 books per box, right? Okay, the next one is 18 stamps on 3 sheets. 18 stamps on 3 sheets. That means how many sheets per sheet? How many stamps per sheet, right? That would be stamps per sheet. How many? Which is the correct option? So, which is the correct option? Yes, that would be 6. In one sheet, you have 6 stamps, right? Okay, the next one is 12 deliveries in 2 hours. So, how many deliveries per hour? Which option is the correct one? Yes, 12 divided by 2 is 6. That means 6 deliveries per hour, right? Okay, the other example is 10 days, 10 pages in 2 days. 10 pages in 2 days. So how many pages per minute? How many pages per day? Which is the correct option? That would be, you have to divide 10 by 2, so that would be very good. 5, that means 5 pages per day, right? Okay, so you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we were working on grade 5 math. The lessons we're going to work, we're working on grade 5 math. Chapter we're working on is ratios, ratios, proportions, and percents. And the lessons we have covered today are ratio tables, equivalent ratios, and unit rates and equivalent rates. So that's your homework. You have to complete all the practice questions for these lessons later today. So if you need more help with the lesson, even you can search the YouTube channel, or I think you can contact any tutor on the Skype. If you have any question, you can please ask. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. Right? So we still have 3-4 minutes. You can ask question. So either if you need more help with the lesson, you can search the channel. How do you search the channel? Let me just explain. For example, here I'm on the YouTube. You have to search for the same lesson, right? The lesson is, let's just search a lesson. That is ratio tables, right? Let's just write down the lesson name, ratio tables, and followed by the channel name. The channel name is A plus classes, right? And just see on results. Here is the result. Grade 6, unit rate and rates, ratio tables. That's the one I did for grade 6. You can find the other lessons here, right? So if you have any question, you can please ask. Otherwise, either you can search the channel or either you can contact any tutor. They are available from Monday to Friday, 5 to 9. Or either you can join me in the interactive session daily from 4 to 5 and 9 to 10. Right? That's all for today. See you in the next session. No questions? Okay, then that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye, everyone.